long before Arthur's destined encounter with the sword embedded in a mystical rock that would anoint him as king. His existence unfolded as a magical and unique journey, under Merlin's watchful gaze. From the very moment of his birth, Merlin, the powerful wizard, claimed young Arthur, guiding his upbringing in the ethereal embrace of the breathtaking crystal cave. Under the enigmatic teachings of the Way of the Wizard, Arthur's formative years danced with magic and mystery. Today, we are diving deep in Lesson 8, a lesson to discover what is love and what it is like to be in love. But before starting, don't forget to like and subscribe. A certain day, just before he left Merlin's care, Arthur, who was nearly 15, found himself feeling moody due to a burning question. However, he didn't dare to ask the wizard. Knowing very well his pupil, Merlin asked, "Are you sad about going out among them? After all, you are of their kind." Arthur looked away. "I'm sad, but that's not the reason why." "Then what is it?" "I want to ask you something, but I don't know how or if I should." "Go ahead." Arthur looked doubtful. "It's not about any lesson you've taught me, yet more than anything I want to know. That is, if you would tell me." He paused, tongue-tied. "You want to know what it is like to be in love, perhaps?" Arthur nodded, happy to have been saved by Merlin's intuition. The old wizard thought for a moment and said, "First of all, do not be ashamed because you've asked about a truly important thing. There is something about being in love that cannot be captured in word, but come with me." Merlin led Arthur out in a clearing where the noon sun shone. In Merlin's hand, a lighted candle appeared, which he held up against the sun. "Can you see whether it is lit or not?" he asked. "No," said Arthur. The sun was so bright that it made the candle flame invisible. "But look," Merlin said. He held a ball of cotton next to the candle, and it was promptly burned up. "What does that have to do with love?" the boy asked. But Merlin didn't reply. He only took a wild gentian flower and squeezed 2 drops of its juice onto Arthur's fingers. "Taste," he ordered. Arthur made a face. "It's very bitter." Merlin led him to a lake and told him to wash his hands. "Now taste the water," he ordered. "Is any trace of bitterness there?" "No," Arthur admitted. "But what does this have to do with love?" Again, Merlin didn't reply, but led the boy deeper into the forest. "Sit still," he said softly. Arthur did as he was told. After a moment, a mouse crept out into the field some yards away. A shadow passed overhead, but before the mouse could move, it was snatched up by an eagle, which flew with its prey to a nest high in the cliffs. Baffled, Arthur said, "But you said you were going to teach me about love. What did anything you showed me have to do with that?" "Listen," his master said. "Like the candle that becomes invisible held next to the sun, your ego will dissolve in the overwhelming force of love. Like the bitter taste that is undetectable once it is diluted by the lake, your life's bitterness will be as sweet as the freshest waters when mixed with love. And like the prey devoured by the eagle, your self-importance will become a glint in the eye of the love that eats you up." "I don't understand." "Listen, boy, all love as you mortals define it must fade and perish," Merlin said. "Your so-called love comes and goes. It transfers from one object of desire to the next. It quickly turns to hate if your desires are frustrated. Real love cannot change. It has nothing to do with an object, and it cannot become another emotion because it isn't an emotion to begin with. For a wizard, the word love is a sacred word, because his meaning for love is that which dissolves all impurities, leaving only the true and the real. As long you have fear, you cannot really love," Merlin cautioned. "As long as you have anger, you cannot truly love. As long as you have selfish ego, you cannot truly love." "Then how can I ever love at all?" asked Arthur, knowing that fear, anger, and selfishness were things he experienced quite often. "Ah, that's the mystery," replied Merlin. "No matter how imperfect you are, love will find you and transform you until you can love in return. Love actively seeks out imperfections to heal them. Everyone has the potential for love. It's just that some people haven't felt its force yet. Remember this, Arthur. True power comes from within. Seeing the world through the lens of love, which originates from within, allows you to live fearlessly, in unshakable peace. There are essential truths about love that often go unnoticed. To receive love, you must first give it. If you want someone to love you unconditionally, don't place conditions on them. To love others, you must first love yourself. Yet, Merlin noted, mortals often become feverish and anxious with love. They may think they'll die without their beloved. However, genuine love doesn't make you restless. Real love doesn't seek external validation. The most desired beloved is an extension of yourself. Thinking you need love from another reveals a limitation in your awareness. For a wizard, all forms of love originate from the self. That sounds incredibly selfish, objected Arthur. You're confusing the self with the ego, Merlin clarified. The self is spirit. Selfishness comes from the ego, which craves possession, control, and dominance. When the ego says, "I love you because you are mine," it's about domination, not love. Those who truly understand love have stripped away selfishness, leading to an entirely different experience. "And what is that like?" asked Arthur. "Will I ever know it?" "One day, after you have gotten over this restless fever, you'll notice a tiny light in your heart. At first, it'll be like a small spark. Then it will grow into a candle flame, and eventually it will become a powerful bonfire. Suddenly, you'll awaken, and this flame will consume everything: the sun, the moon, and the stars. In that moment, the entire cosmos will be filled with nothing but love, yet all of it will still originate from within your own heart." "But how do I get there?" Arthur asked. "It's past your bedtime," Merlin said. "Tomorrow, we will finish this lesson." Today, we embarked on a profound exploration in Lesson 8 of Arthur's mystical education, a lesson that unraveled the very essence of love. We thank you for your presence here, and if you enjoyed this magical odyssey, don't forget to like and subscribe.